day, there is a Honda pressure washer. It's a GX390 on it. It says it's a 3,600 PSI at 4 gallons a minute. It's a pretty decent pump. First couple things, I'm going to be putting new tubes in all of it. I recently had purchased a tire, I don't know, what would we consider it? Machine? Device? Potential new aggravation? I don't know. The reason why is I generally don't like doing tires. I don't. It's a skill that I don't work on very often, mainly because I don't like it. And the reason why I don't like it is whenever I get a tire, it's usually pretty old and stiff. These aren't horrible. But, let's see here. I've been doing this for, I don't even know how many years now. And in the first 2 or 3, probably 2 occasions, maybe 2, occurred, and I never really had to worry too much about it. And even if it did, it was like, oh, this might be a little flat. Can you put some air in there? Oh, like the stem is bad, or something stupid, something easy, something that wouldn't be too hard. And I think the very first one was it wouldn't let air in, and this little piece actually was completely jammed and pretty dirty and just stuck. So that was easy enough. But over the course, I've been getting a lot more tubes, a lot more bead seals to be broken, a lot more, just all kinds of stuff. Luckily, we don't have to worry about a bead seal being immediately broken, but we do have to have a tube. So anyway, we'll be doing new tubes. How you figured it out is on the side, it will tell you what it is. I have a 4.00/3.5/6, and right now this one's a 4-6, so this should be fine. I got that one and this one. I'll get into this later, but we'll come up with a couple things that I've learned over my experimentation with them. Next, I don't know if this runs the person. In fact, now I'm thinking about it. Turn the cleaner on. The person that gave it to me bought it off the internet. The guy said the pump worked, but didn't know about the status of anything else. So he just wants me to get it running, more or less. I think also he said this was leaking. Pump oil is good. I looked at it, it seems to be at the right level. It's not milky. I think it's actually been changed fairly recently. So that's good. I actually have another one after this to do. I bought a new filter for it, but this is looking pretty good. Sleeve for the sock or whatever you want to say it is. Pretty nice. Look at the new one. It's not much of a difference there at all. Well, this guy is a professional, so I'm going to still put it on there. If he wanted it, that's what he's going to get. Pull cord, tighten it up a little bit, we'll do that. Throttle appears to be fine. The carburetor's a little sticky, so I'll definitely be cleaning that. I also have a brand new MGK plug here. Oh, that seems good. I power switch. Has a little oil cut off from the looks of it. I'll show you real quick. So when you see this power on off switch, and you see anything that goes to the engine around the oil level, that's going to be your oil shut off. What that does is if you start to run out of oil, a leak, you can put any in, whatever the case of having the oil drain, it won't actually allow spark to occur, so the engine won't actually run. So that's what a low oil shut off is. So I like low oil shut offs. I don't want to say you can kind of tell the quality of a machine by it, because you definitely can't. But what you can do is it will tell you just kind of what it's general use for. If it's like a pressure washer in this case, and it has something like that, it's probably for heavy duty use. They expect this motor to be running for a long time. I mean, obviously most homeowners won't be using something like this, so you kind of expect features like that. Like a tiny one, like maybe the one you see in the background, a little bit on the little cart behind the Suzuki. It's not going to have that. Maybe the horizontal version of that will eventually, but standard homeowner use one that you use 3 or 4 times a year is not going to have that. So you see stuff like that, you know what you're working with. Let's see here. Next, let's look at the oil. I've never ran this before, so I have no idea. Oil is at the right level and is clean, so that's good. I think this person bought a pretty decent one. So, from the looks of it, I think the main thing is I'm going to want to take this off. Let me get a block of wood. Move all the parts out of the way. Today was the first day it hasn't been 90 degrees outside or warmer, so it's kind of nice to work in the garage today. But that doesn't mean that I don't like the 90-degree weather. If I had to choose between every day being 90 and every day being 65 and cloudy, I'd rather be at 90. Not too big. This should come off eventually. Come on. It's just snapping off now. There we go. Okay, good. Or maybe not. Something else holding this on there? Doesn't look like it. Unless it's just simply rust. Something tells me it's simply rust. Those bearings have seen better days. I might have more. No, at the very least, it'll be looped up. So, to take it off, usually isn't that hard. You can just manhandle it, putting it on. That's the hard part. There we go. Yep. So a tube, you're pretty much guaranteed. 90% of the time, the reason why it's not accepting air, or not accepting but holding air, is it's usually ripped at this point. My mind just went blank. But as you can tell, it's also ripped. You can buy patches. They don't really work, at least not for very long. But if it's just something that you're going to be, like I said, homeowner use, not using very often, very infrequently, sits in their garage, however you want to say it, those patches are probably fine. But this guy will probably be using it 2-3 times a week minimum. Tire, while dirty, it's not horrible. It's a little cracking, but the tread itself is actually fine. So let's go. Oh yeah, let's go with this. To kind of make it easier, blow a little bit of air in the tube. Where is my? Where is it? Looks like we get to use the fancy one. I don't usually use this for small engines. This is usually for like my car. But it's a digital air meter. I mean, you could just put almost anything. It's nice to have this for your car, especially. So just put a little bit of air. Like right now, it's at so low it's not even reading. So just a little bit of air. Could even probably put a little more in there if you wanted to. But that is going to make putting that in there a lot easier. The next trick, when it comes down to putting, why can't I think of the name? It's just like escaping me now. I'll think about it as soon as I turn you off. But when it comes down to putting this through the hole of the rim, it's going to be very aggravating to keep that in place. Get one of these little office clips, like the really hard to clip ones. Those are a lifesaver. You clip that on the end, as long as you don't jostle it too much, it holds it in place and you don't have to worry about stem. There we go, the stem. Going back inside and you have to flushing it out. It's just a giant pain. Just put one of those on there, makes it a lot easier. Let's go over to the tire machine. So like I said, you could put a little bit more in there. I have it in there. I'm just going to put a dash more, just to kind of help straighten it out. I don't want to anywhere near feel it though. Fill. That was like 2 pounds probably, according to the meter. Okay, that is just going to aid putting everything back together. Obviously, when you put it back together, you want to make sure where you're putting it. The side of the hole is the side of the stem. put the opposite side in first. This one we might have to start with the tire machine. I hope not, but let's see. The next side is probably most definitely what we have. You want to be very careful. They make special tire. I guess it's not technically a screwdriver, but as you can tell, it's not sharp. It has a curve. I don't remember what they're called, but they're useful. Like I said, I'm not a tire person. So this is the part that can be a little tricky. We don't care about the stem at the current moment. This is where we'll probably have to go to with the tire machine. The tires get old, they get hard. That's usually a sign you need to get a new one. This one's not too bad though. Yeah, I think I'll take it to the tire machine. This is just slipping and sliding away. Yeah. Okay, go put it on, then be right back. Well, that was just disappointing. The machine I have, there's a little rod that goes through the center where the bearing is. This bearing is too big, so I can't use it. I also made a mistake. You do want to use the clip when you're putting in the other side, because that's the annoying part. So I put the clip on. Okay, so I'm going to take off the clip now. Put some air in there. Something you do want to do, because it sets your low pressure so far, is maybe hold the stem while you're putting this on there. If you have one of those that just kind of slides on, definitely do that the entire time. Probably a tad more. The problem with this digital gauge is that it doesn't like to read such low pressures. Right now it's a 4.5. About 10. There. That's as much as I want to put in there. The tube, the most you want to do is probably like 12. I might even say it on there. Let's see here. I suppose it also depends on the type, but just don't overdo it. You can blow a tube pretty easily. Okay. Stem is in. This is on. Now we're just going to put this back together. Let's give this bearing a little love. This one too. Technically we're supposed to pack these with grease, but I don't have any more. So we're going to put this on. replace the bearings. It's a tad noisy to measure and see what those are. Maybe just get a whole new rim. Nah, I'm seeing new bearings. Those are easier, just press those out. If for any reason you are installing new bearings, whatever surface is going to be against the material, so for instance the outside is against it, you want to hammer on that. You don't want to hammer on the other one. 99% of the time it's going to be on the outside. So he's got like a socket. They make special adapters and tools to install them, but I guess there are occasions when the inner area is the one you're going to have to hammer. If that's the case, you don't want to hammer on the outside. You just want to make sure you're not putting too much pressure on the opposite end. There we are. Okay, now let's put this back on. And there we have it. YouTube. Measure that bearing. Or maybe I was asked the guy. Maybe he didn't want one. So if I order one, it might take a few days. There are a couple places I can go and just buy some though, locally. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this to the other side. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the other side done. It's actually sitting on the wheels now. As you can tell, it's a lot more level. I double checked the oil on the pump again because it is at a level. Still looks good. You did have to change it. There should be a drain. Yeah, there's a drain on the bottom, and then there's a fill on the top. So this is what I was talking about, how sometimes if it's not the stem, you could potentially patch it. So right here is close to the stem, but it's not the stem. This is a pretty big rip. I don't think a patch would be a great idea, but it probably would work. Okay, so now you can tell we're going to do something with the pull cord too. Take off the carb. This should come off too. Start with the top. Ooh, that wasn't even tight. It tells me that someone might have been here before. Or maybe not. But when I pull this throttle lever, it doesn't like to return. It's a little sticky. So. Whew. Turn the fuel. And the choke lever. And this. I watch people that modify these engines, like the 212s or whatever the other size of the Harbor Freight ones. And for whatever reason, it never seems to amaze me. They put a different carb on, which, okay, that's fine, makes sense. But then, for the crankcase pressure, they drill a hole in the valve cover, which makes zero sense to me because the crankcase is open to the valve. I don't know, it just seems like you're just asking for problems, but it works. I don't know, maybe I'm just overseeing something. If anyone else knows why that happens, definitely feel free to mention it. Take off the fuel clamp. And this is a good type. The fuel line is exposed, so it's easier to take off and clamp it. So just clamp that right there. We'll take a look at the fuel in a bit. Special fuel pliers. Makes everything easier. If you, I'm gonna do a video soon on. I did like an essential tool video. I'm gonna do another one for like small engines, or just certain things that are just kind of like a must. This is definitely one of them. Because other videos, more or less on a garage, just for general things, small engine work being one of them, but for very, very basic. Fuel doesn't look all that bad. We might use that. Oh, that gasket ripped completely apart. Oh yeah, this gasket's toast. I'm either gonna have to make a new one, or hope I have one. Might have one though. Yeah. Oh, that's nasty. That's not good. Kind of makes me wonder if the person that got it put fuel and I tried to start it, and it wouldn't start, so that's why it's here. Because that fuel is definitely not old enough for what I'm seeing here, for how much non-usage I'm seeing. Okay, well, I'm going to put this in the carb station. Be right back. So what does everyone think it's going to be? Thinking a lot of white in there, or at least a lot of gooey. Take that off. Oof. Okay. Before we do that, just so we have some knowledge of what's coming out of it, let's take this gas, pour it in a bad gas can, and do it over here. It's pretty dark. That's definitely not the same color of fuel that came out of it. What can I use to gracefully hit it? Well, the person that used it last, oh, you probably can't see with this in the way, huh? Used ethanol. That's a given. That's disgusting. This is gonna go in there. That's what came out. It's like coffee. The needle is definitely not wanting to come out very well, too. It's not very often I put the needle in there, but I think I will today. It's even less frequent. I'd put the whole needle. Well, I'm not going to put the needle, but I'll put the float in there too. So this is the scary part. There's a lot of crap in there. That's a brass jet too. That's not big enough. Might be too big. These little extensions for like an impact are actually very useful in a situation like this. The jet's pretty far down there. It's good to go. Okay. Might be too big too. problem is just so caked. It's hard to get a good grip. I'm going to try it one more time, and if I even start to feel a slipping, I'm just going to put it in there like that, and then we'll try it again later. And it comes out of the cleaner. I think we have something. That we do. I'd be amazed if that actually came out. Push the emulsion tube out. That was gooey. A little pick with a curve on it. Oh, look at that. It's black. Just with nasty all over it. That jet, nothing's going through there. Put that in there. Next, I'm going to take off this. It's probably also going to be disgusting. Not horrible. Take off this seal. I'll put that in separately. Wonder if this seal is going to come off friendly. If it doesn't, I'm just going to leave it. There we go. This gasket we're not going to worry about right now. Idle jet. And because this is one that you can manually adjust the speed, I will be taking out the whole idle jet too. It's one of those. It's coming up. You have to be careful though, you don't want to break it. It is plastic. Sometimes though, if you take your fuel pliers, there we go, wraps around there just right. Get again, must have. I'm going to need to take this out too. There's a little lip on it though. Oh, I'm going to have to cut that off. I'm going to take a Dremel, cut that off, take this off, put in the carb cleaner, and be right back. Okay, so that's all done, except for blowing this out. Not too shabby. We'll still take a clean little towel and just wipe away the water. That's a lot better. Okay. Emulsion tube, clean. Put that in first. Jet, I took a micro drill bit set and I kind of shoved it through there. I didn't drill it, but I did clean it with it. I could have drilled it, but I don't really want to. It was already pretty large of a jet. too bad. Clean the tip. That's not how it goes on at all. There we are. Put this back on. The bowl back on. See if it works. Sounds good. So after I take it out of the carb cleaner, I blow through every passage with air, including the idle circuit, which is that one that was on the side that I was showing earlier. It's actually fairly important to do that one. If you don't, it won't idle right, obviously, but it also won't really run right. This is on the opposite end, the inlet. Is that the right one? Don't see a gasket on this one. It's no good. It's not on the end of that either. Let me find a gasket. Okay, brand new gasket. Well, not brand new. Brand new to this machine. I don't know where it went. Probably fell off. There we go. Next we have the idle. That's nice and clean. Tip looks pretty sharp. Yeah. There we go. Shove the wire bristle down this. It's nice and clean. Come on, get in there right. Oh, there goes the rest of that gasket. Let me put this in here. This seems to be running a little high now idle. It is a 13 horsepower Honda. We'll do a little less. And we'll put this back on. Boom. Let's see. It's not bad. Let's put a little oil on the butterfly. Oil on there too. Oh yeah, way better. Okay, I'll put it back on the machine, see if it runs. So here's a little trick if you have something like this. It's usually just not wound up very well. So you undo it. Then you keep twisting it the other way. But if you then take the cable out, so when your hands aren't cramping like mine is, it just kind of gives you like an extra run. You put it back like so. Now, done. So, carb is on, but I'm going to take this as an opportunity to look at this plug before the air filter goes on. I was able to find a new gasket too. I got that all. There we are. It's not horrible. Let's put the new one in. Oddly enough, I looked it up. It gave me two different sizes, a BP6ES and also a NGKR BKR5E. I got that one because it's a resistor plug. That one, however, I think is a different socket type. I like resistor plugs a little better. They seem to have less problems. That could just be bad luck on my part. Let me find my extension. Okay. Nice and tight. Pull cord is good. Chuck that. Put that back on. It does screw off. This doesn't look like the type to screw off. Okay, so there's like this spring little mechanism in there to kind of keep it in place, and it was not wanting to play well. Put a little lubrication in there. Let's move you up so you can see a little better than that. Okay. Put that in there. No, still not wanting to play well. Okay, fine. Don't want to have to use this one, but why is it so much easier to push with a pick? So it gets stuck as soon as you put a plug in there. Let's put it here. Ow. Okay, let me mess with this. Okay, now I think we should be set. Let's put the plug back in here. Try this again. Aha. Much better. This on. There. Let her. And the fuel has been on this entire time. So far, no leakage. Helps if we put it on the right way. I also put new Teflon on the inlet. That's good. Oil's good. I'm gonna clean up a little bit so when I turn this on it doesn't turn into a rattle fest. I'm gonna get another hose gasket. Be right back. So your battery's about to die, but hopefully I have enough time for this. I don't remember what side is choke, forever forget. Don't run this very long without water. It's okay for a moment or two. It's fine. We're just going to check the motor first. Make sure it's on. Maybe it's this way it's on. This way. No. Full throttle. This carb is fairly close to it. Okay, choke should be like that. Was that on for fuel? Try this again. That's not good. Let's try this. No, fuel on. Let's check for spark real quick. I'm gonna get a new battery for you. So there is spark, but something I noticed is that it seems to be arcing more from the side electrode, and the gap seems pretty wide on this. The gap is almost 50 thousandths. That's a little bit too much there. It should be about 30. There we go. That's close to 30. It's at 32. Let's try this again. That's 30 times I've done that now. Well, I said it doesn't like the R spark plug. Let's put in this one. It's old, but we'll see what happens. It's completely, so the website that I was looking at apparently was wrong. Let's put this one in instead. And I will just go to the store later and buy the spark plug. Okay, so where's my 13/16? It's covered in oil, that's what it is. 15. Okay. I thought that sounded weird, but whatever. If it works like this, it works like this. Even this looks weird. Let's take this off. That doesn't make any sense at all. But that also makes no sense. Just doesn't look right. Guess it is. Whatever. Choke. Fuel on. Give her a yank. Spark is on. some fuel could be higher. Let's put a little more fuel in her. It's pretty low. Just enough to fill the top of the catch area. Let's try no choke. Let's try choke. So high RPM doesn't want to stay on. Is that because it's just cold? Let's try it again. Or the fuel levels is too low. Okay, well, I'm gonna plug it into the ground or to the water and see if it leaks. Let's see, do I have a quick connect that would fit this? Let's find out. Yeah, but nothing else to fit in there. I need to do some searching. So, I don't have one, but I'm going to connect it to the hose, see if that part leaks. And if it does, we'll take it apart, bring it back. But I don't think it will. I think it's pretty good now. So, if you like what you see, keep on watching. Definitely subscribe. That helps a lot. Thumbs up also helps a lot. I'll be submitting a whole lot more. If you like them, definitely, I don't know, maybe it's like this. There we go. I knew that didn't look right. It's like, why would they have this on the area that you can't see? Oh. There we go. Ha, that looks way better. Okay. There we go. You can tell I don't even work on 13 horsepower Hondas very often. But anyway, like what you see, definitely keep on watching. Definitely subscribe. Like I said, thumbs up definitely helps. I will catch everyone later. If you have any questions,